What's up guys, my name's Dychronic here on this Destiny 2 video, and today we're going to show you what the Xur is for October 12, 2018. I did not just look over at the clock right there, but it is October 12th. We're going to show you where he is. First off, he is on Titan in his regular location, so just teleport here to the rig, make your way over here, and he's in this first little building right here. Should not be that hard to find. In here, you can find him. He's got some special Forsaken items for you guys today. That's not true, I just thought I'd say that because that would be funny to say. Yeah, he's never going to sell Forsaken, or it's going to be a very long time before he does. And some things that not a lot of people really know about him is that these armors actually have different roles than you're used to. Every time an exotic drops, it has a chance of being different than every exotic that you've gotten of that same exotic before. So this Synthocepts is not the same as other Synthocepts you found in the wild, and it's not the same as the one in collections. So make sure you pay attention to the roles as much as the exotics. So first off, let's talk about the Tractor Cannon. It's a very nice weapon, very useful. Basically allows you to bump enemies around and make it so they take 50% more void damage. Used to be a lot more useful when the Kello shotgun could be void, but it's still very useful, and I would highly recommend you try using it, especially if you're using like Nova Bombs or anything that has a very powerful void punch on it. The general idea with this thing is that you hit the enemy once with it, it becomes more vulnerable, then you pull out your void shotgun and you just start going to town on them. The problem is that you get 50% more damage with this thing, and then you also get 50% more damage with the Kello shotgun without the power weapon. You just need a melee, which is much better. So it's kind of become a little outdated. They need to find a way to make the Kello shotgun not so uniquely powerful, and this thing will rise to the top. So I recommend you pick this one up. It's still very useful. Next up, we have the Synthocepts, probably the best Titan exotic in the game. Now, I don't have a lot of the exotics in Forsaken, so I can't really say what is the best, but right now, this thing is amazing. And the reason this is because of the perks that it has. First off, increased melee lunge range, which is never bad, really nice in PvP. Improved melee and super damage when you're surrounded. In PvP, that's 2 enemies. In PvE, that's 3 enemies. It just basically, once you get surrounded, you get the buff for a little while. And that increases your melee damage up to twice as much, depending on the number of enemies around you. And then, of course, your super damage by 50% more. So you get surrounded by like 3 enemies in PvE, and they start chucking your hammers at the boss. This thing helps you do increased damage by a lot, which is significant. As far as the roll goes, the resistance recovery is very nice. The increased reload speed of hand cannons and getting your grenade back from melee, especially considering this is kind of a melee focused item, which is really good. And then finally, shotgun scavenger and heavy ammo finder are both fantastic third column. I would say this is probably one of the best kind of rolls you can get for an exotic for an arm piece. So if you don't have this one, make sure you pick it up and use it as your current one. Even if you do have this exotic, you might want to pick this one up because the roll is really nice. Next up for the hunters, we've got Gemini Jester. One of those things where basically whenever you dodge near an enemy, it disorients them kind of like smoke grenade. So it removes their radar, it makes it so they're kind of disoriented. It basically is like a smoke grenade. So you dodge near them. It's fantastic in PvP, especially if you dodge a lot. I failed to dodge a lot, so it's really annoying for me, but this is actually really good, and I think a lot of people are sleeping on it. This thing you should definitely pick up. As far as the roll goes, using your class ability to get your grenade cooldown is really nice, and special ammo finder is also really nice. Other than that, there's not really too many amazing parts, so this is more of like an average to a little bit above average as far as the roll goes. And lastly, the Sanguine Alchemy Warlock chest piece from Warmind. Make it so whenever you're staying in a rift, you grant you and your allies heightened senses, allowing you to retain your radar while aiming down sights, and additionally marking nearby enemies, visually marking them through walls, which is without line of sight, which is actually really nice. I'm honestly surprised that more people don't use this. I'm surprised that I personally haven't used this a lot. This is definitely for one of those defensive location kind of deals. If you're defending a location, you're going to some control point, putting this rift down helps out your allies a lot, makes you a lot more formidable, and in general is very much a team-oriented exotic. As far as the roll goes, I would say not a very second column because, you know, sniper rifle, unflinching aim sounds good, but it still makes your shot go far enough that it's not worth it. And then finally, you can have special ammo finder, which is decent, but the second column kind of tanks it a little bit. Overall, I would say this is kind of an average, maybe below average roll for an average exotic. Other than that, you've got the exotic Faded Engram, guarantees you an exotic you don't have from before Forsaken. You cannot get Forsaken items from it. I have tested multiple times and they have said so. And then finally, Five of Swords consumable makes it so you can enable modifiers on your Nightfall strikes, not only to make them harder for points, but also easier. So you can apply things like heavyweight on your Nightfalls to make them a lot easier. And that's it. That is the Xur for you guys today. Hope you guys did enjoy. Of course, you know, my name's been Dychronic, and this has been the Xur location. I do these every single week. What is that? It's like a little light. I want it. Oh, come on, it's a sleeper simulant. That should have hit it. I wasn't exactly looking at it, but you know, that's how the thing works. But that's it. That's the video for you guys today. Hope you guys did enjoy. My name has been Dychronic, and I'll see you guys on the next one.